Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this video we will start designing this typewriting effect for our website. So here we can see we have this typewriting effect displayed over here, and we have three different text displayed one after the other. Now I'll split this video into two parts, where in the first part we will just set everything up, and we'll also design all of this using HTML and CSS. And then in the next video I'll show you how to add different text over here, and for that we will also use some JavaScript. And you can go ahead and add more than 3 text over here, so I will also show you what to change in the code for that. So let's get started. Alright, here I have created this folder called typewriting effect, and I opened it with VS Code. Now the first thing you have to make sure is that you are using a monospace font. And a monospace font is basically a font that has all the characters with the same amount of width. And if you don't have a monospace font, then the animation will not look good, because we can see that this cursor is moving in a set amount of width. So if the font doesn't have the characters with the same amount of width, then the animation will not look good. So the first thing we will do is we will get a monospace font from fonts.google.com. Alright, here I'm in fonts.google.com, and you can go over here to categories and select just the monospace category. So I'll just uncheck all of this. And now we can see that only the monospace fonts are displayed over here. So let's scroll down and let's find a font that looks good. I think I have used this font for our design, so let's select this. And let's go ahead and select this style. And here we can see we have the selected family. If you don't see this, you can just click on this button right here called View Your Selected Families. And then you can go ahead and copy this link. So I'll just copy this from here. And let's go back to our VS Code. And let's create our necessary files. So first of all, let's create an HTML file. So let's click on New File, and I'll just name it index.html. And we also need to have a CSS file. So let's create a new file. I'll just name it style.css. And we also need to have a JavaScript file. I'll just name it main.js. Alright, now let's go to our index.html file. And in VS Code, you have the shortcut where you can just press exclamation and press tab, and you will have this basic HTML5 code. Now let's go ahead and link our CSS file. So I'll just type link and press tab. And in the href, I'll just type style.css. And here in the body, I'll just link our JavaScript file. So I'll just type script:/src and press tab. And in the src, I'll just type main.js. And here in the head section, we will paste the link of the font. So we have already copied this link from here, and let's paste it over here. Right now, let's start with the markup of our design. So if we go back to our design, here we can see we have this text over here at the top, and then we have this text over here. So I'll just create a division with the class of typewriter effect container. And in that we will have an h2 for the heading. Here I'll just type hi, I am. And then we need to have all the text that we need to animate. So for that we'll create a span, and we'll give it a class of typing effect or typewriter effect. And in that we will have 3 paragraphs for 3 text. So I'll just create a paragraph, and we will have a class of text1 for the first text. And here I'll just type designer, and I'll just duplicate this 2 more times. And for the next one we will have web developer, and I'll just change the class to text2. And then we have text3, and here I'll just type app designer. You can go ahead and add whatever you want over here. Now let's open this in our browser. So I have this extension called Live Server installed in VS Code. So you can just search for Live Server over here and install it. And once you do that, you can just right click over here in the HTML and click on Open with Live Server. And here we can see our design is opened in the browser. Alright, now let's go to our style.css file, and let's start styling this. The first thing we will do is we'll just remove the margin from the body. So I'll just type body and margin of 0. And now let's target the container division, which is called typewriter effect container. So let's type typewriter effect container. And we'll set the width to 100% and the height to 100 viewport height. And let's add a background color and see whether it is being applied. So here we can see we have this width and height. Now we can see this margin over here at the top because of the heading. So I'll just type typewriter effect container h2, and I'll just set the margin to 0. Right now we don't have any margin at the top. Right now let's bring it to the center. So I'll just tap display of flex and align items to the center. And we also need to have these elements one below the other. So I'll just tap flex direction and set it to column. And now we also need to set justify content to the center. And we need to remove this align items because we have changed the direction. Right now it is in the center vertically. Right now let's add a padding of 32 pixels. And now we can see that the padding is also added to the heading and the width. So for that we can just type box sizing and set it to border box. And now we can see everything looks alright. Right now let's remove this background color from here. And let's set the font size of the heading to 40 pixels. And we will set the font family to the font that we just linked over here in the HTML. So it is called Share Tech Mono. So I'll just add the font family over here in the container. So I'll just have font family, and here we'll type Share Tech Mono, and as a backup font we'll just type mono space. Right now for the color of the text I'll just type FF2323. Alright, that's it with the heading. Now let's go ahead and start styling these three text over here. So let's type Typewriter effect, because that's the class that we had given for this span over here. And we need to select all the paragraphs inside the span. So let's type Typewriter effect P, and let's set the font size to 50 pixels. The font is not being added, so let's see what's the problem. We have this typo over here, Typewriter. We need to add an E. Right now we can see that the style is applied over here. Right now let's set the font weight to 900. Right now the next thing we need to do is we need to set the same position for all this text over here. So for that we need to select the container division, which is Typewriter effect, and we need to set the position of this to relative, so that we can position this paragraph relative to this Typewriter effect. So here in the paragraph you need to type position absolute, and we'll set the left and the top position to 0, so that we will have the same position for all this text. Now we can see that all the three texts are displayed over here at the same time. So I'll just type opacity and set it to 0, and we will add a class called active to this paragraph, and whenever we have the active class we will display the text. So I'll just type Typewriter effect p.active, and let's set the opacity to 1. Now let's go back to our HTML, and for one of this paragraph I'll just add a class of active, and now we can see that the first text is displayed over here. Now if you remove this active class from here and if we add it to the next text, we can see that the next paragraph is displayed over here in the same way we have for the last paragraph. And I think we have a lot of margin between these two elements. So let's go back to the style.css, and here I'll just set the margin to 0. I think it's a bit too less, so I'll just type margin top of, let's say, 20 pixels, and that looks alright. Alright, that's it with the design of our page. Now in the next video we will add the typewriting effect and also switch the text using JavaScript. So that's it for this video. If you have any doubts you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.